There was no windows on my train ride to Moscow. This one comes at us from Zagreb. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's about a guy that's riding a train through Moscow that, well, has no windows, of course. The only means of communication between him and the driver, Sergey, is a tiny little terminal that sends and receives messages. Now, at some point during the night, Sergey mentions to our main character that he is not to leave his cabin at night. Our main character discovers that there actually was a window, but it was covered in some black paint. He chips it away and is looking out a window, and at first he thinks he sees his own reflection, but then he's met with some kind of scream and realizes that it's actually not a reflection, it's something else looking through the window. Then he starts hearing a bunch of loud noises and receives some messages, basically being scolded for making the bad decision that he did. As if the situation couldn't get any worse, he receives messages from Sergey saying to stay inside, not to make any noise or not to say anything, don't turn on any lights, stay quiet, and just that they're going to detach his car and they're going to send for help. Quite the situation to be stuck in. The main character describes saying that he's praying that he hopes he doesn't wake up. The situation is that horrified. He's eventually rescued, taken to the hospital, and asked questions by many different people, but nothing really comes of it. The story ends with the main character saying that he's leaving this message as a warning to people not to do any digging, and since he's dying of lung cancer, he has nothing to lose, so why not share the story before he passes? We never find out what those things outside of his car were, which I honestly think works to the story's advantage. It helps leave it to the imagination, which I think makes it that much scarier. I think it would have been much better, in fact almost perfect, had it ended on the note where the main character was really hoping not to wake up. That would be the perfect ending, at least to me, because it's very somber and dark, and I think it would just wrap it up really nicely. It would also give you more of a sense of dread, where I suppose you could say that's the feeling about the guy dying of lung cancer, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of tacked on. This story is pretty decent, but it's kind of flat for the most part. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. It kind of falls somewhere in between. I'm going to give it a C. Much like every story in every Creepypasta-Thon, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check it out for yourself and form your own opinion. But if you're asking me, it's just okay.